What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
What's up, everybody? We're here. We're back. One Piece 1161. God Valley. Getting into a little more of the incident today. The ever-hyped, ever-elusive God Valley upon us. Manga Plus is giving me a 404 message. It is not loading the chapter. I think we're gonna have to go to Viz today. Seems like Manga Plus might be down. I'm getting some 3 dots here. Is it actually loading? Let's refresh again. Yeah, Manga Plus seems to, I don't know if it's working for anybody else, but it's not working for me. So we're gonna go back to doing it the old way with Viz. Good news is I can see automatically, there's no break. We have a massive color spread here with a lot of little character cameos, it looks like. Immediately I see Gaimon. There's a lot of people here. Oh man. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, I just want to sit here actually and just take this in. Because this is really cool. Let's see. Also, shout out to Crush Not, member for 10 months. Drop the Stephen D. Smiths. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Alright. So, what we have here is a claw machine. Automatically, this just feels like one of the greatest color spreads of all time. And it's crazy, too, because the last one was really awesome, too. So we've got, everybody wants to get a piece of the action with the claw machine here. We've got Nami holding Vivi, Genzo, Nojiko, and Belmir, as well as Haradas is behind her as well. So we're tying characters that people have, relationships with. Chopper is stuck in the claw machine with a Tom, a Hero Look, a Sarfunkel. Oh no, that's not Sarfunkel. That's actually Kureha. But funny enough, looks like Sarfunkel. Clover is in there, and it looks like Robin is eyeing the Clover. Looks like one of the ones in the back might be Heracles. Maybe Kaya, maybe Mary. A little hard to tell. Let's see. Luffy's got Momonosuke, Gaimon, Kinemon, Yamato, Rayleigh, Whitebeard, Dedan, Garp, Makino, Shanks, Ace, and Sabo. We've got a buggy flying in the air. Looks like there's Whoop Slap is hanging from Luffy's pile as well. There's a carrot. There is a boa. Sanji is holding Pudding. All right, very closely. And he's also got Perona. Konus. Okay, shout out to Konus. I don't know why Sanji has Hiyori. But alright. Then we have Lilith, Viola, Kami. And Zoro is trying to take a nap on a gigantic Shirahoshi plush next to a Mihawk. And we've got a big, giant Brogy. And then I'm going to assume that Gerd is what's next to Brogy, but I don't know. Yeah, this one's awesome. All right, 1161, A Song of Love, Bound Under a Hail of Arrows. Whew. And then we've got Yamato here at the Ofrenda, I guess, where the heroes sleep. We got Izo, Pedro, Ashura Doji, Kurazumi Blank. That's interesting. Don't know who Taka is. Ushimaru, Umusubi, Tempura. Those are all the people from her, from their backstory, right? Yamato's backstory. Toki, Yasue, Mar, Tai. Don't know who these people are on the bottom. Kanjuro, most likely. They covered up his... yeah, that seems like probably something. Let's see here. Okay. Wow. Okay, we're back here at God Valley. Whew. Martyr. That's interesting. All right. Let's see. I gotta step away for a second, guys. Hang with me, and then we're gonna get into greatness.
Another.
Alright, sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to step away for that long. Shout out to Lydia Raven for rejoining.
Together we're stronger.
Stronger together.
Together we're stronger.
Alright, so here we go. Many figures converged on the island, bearing their individual goals and desires, turning God Valley into an inescapable battlefield of nightmares. Please, my lord, leave the island through the evacuation tunnel. Not yet. I wanted that prize. We'll be responsible for bringing it with us. Responsible? You'll be held responsible for depriving us of a good time. You bungling fools. Maybe this is our big chance. Let's use the chaos to find a boat. Where's Shakky? She better be unharmed. Eris. Okay, we got a name. Potentially Marshall D. Eris. Taka on the Lantern is Hyogoro's wife. Yeah. You know, I try to keep track of the names of like every character in the series, but I gotta be honest, like a lot of the Wano characters, the side characters and stuff, I don't have those memorized. Earlier characters in the story? Oh yeah. Where are you, Roger? Alright, so next page here we got Dragon running with the boys. Which way are the Navy ships? The Marine ships? Pirates. This is the wrong way. Oh. Found him. It's a sailor carrying a baby. So we got... So this is Dragon's first... interaction with a holy knight that is not amicable. Shot through the arm. I wonder if Dragon's got a like a matching scar for this. And that's a crazy power, by the way. Just throwing a pacifista laser out. So this is probably like this is how he drops one of the kids. Let's see. That's technically 4 and 5 on this. All right, there, got him. Saved my life, Mafie. Garling was gonna kill me, I'm sure. All right. Saint Maffy or Mafie. The Satchels family. Garling as a kid, who'd have thunk it? Can't imagine who'd want to kidnap the brat. No, wait, don't take those babies. They're the only way I can atone for being part of this sick, murderous game. So long, young man. Well, considering all the people who have died, I guess I deserve this too. Okay, next page. Out of the way. And this person is cut in half, but they probably know how to regen, so I'm not too scared about this. I wasn't aiming for you. That was an enemy I cut down. How many pirate crews are on this island by now? I almost died there. Do we need to settle our score? Now's the time. Ooh, are those enormous pirates. Okay. So we got Whitebeard and Big Mom saved Dragon. Well, technically Whitebeard. So that's interesting. You know, I mean, another tie to Luffy, right? Because from that perspective, you could sit here and you could argue, you know, the ripples and the butterfly effect of everything. Whitebeard just made it so that Luffy was born. And I love that. Next page set. Okay, we got a big double here. Hey, Newgate, were you trying to kill me, you rat? Shakky, hey, Lin, you lied to me. Kaido. It's the Rocks Pirates. And then we have this silhouette that is very reminiscent of what we got in the Ultimate chapter when we were first learning about rocks. I'm sure that was an intentional thing from Oda here. Take them down, we'll be famous. Hold on, do they think they deserve to win Shakky too? We've got Shiki, Big Mom, Whitebeard, and Kaido taking down a bunch of randos. Love it. Go back home and get in bed, you miserable weaklings. This panel will hit harder if we find out at some point that Shiki was actually like an emperor. Because you've got 3 out of the 4 emperors here. I don't know, I just feel like after Roger dies, like this is what it should be. Alright. What's happening to this island anyway? So Mayfi's still got one of the kids. Nobody escaped, she's got the babies. Shanks with a bump on his head. You know, this is also funny, right? Because if what I'm saying is true or not, right? Either way, on this double page spread, you have the 4 emperors, right? Because you have Shanks as a baby, you got Kaido, you got Whitebeard, you got Big Mom, and then you have also the person that is spoken about in the same breath with these people, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, the most wanted man in the world, Dragon. So, like, there's a lot of layers to who is, like, on this spread to begin with. Brandon King said, isn't it stated that Shiki's an emperor in the Ace light novels? Is that true? I mean, didn't we get confirmation that Shanks became an emperor 6 years ago? How many years ago? 4 years ago or 6 years ago? Because that's gonna determine whether or not it even makes sense for Ace to have ever been a pirate during a time that Shiki was an emperor. You know, and then does that mean that Shanks replaced Shiki? This would, of course, you know, like, you have to think about this without factoring in Strong World being canon at all. Yeah, 6 years ago. So Ace was only a pirate for... Shanks would have already been an emperor. Because Ace became a pirate 5 years ago. Anyway, moving on. I feel like I'm reading Marineford again. Everything's a double-page spread, and this chapter's going intensely fast. I remember when Marineford was weekly, it was like, you know, I used to read the chapters and, like, play some, like, music to, like, amp it up as I was reading, and it would take me, like, sometimes one song or a song and a half to get through the entire chapter because everything was just all action and, like... Anyway, we got Garp here. I'm on page 10, according to Viz. Since a big catch up ahead. Found myself a first-class fishing spot. Now come quietly, you Neptunians. Why would he call them Neptunians? Garp, Ronald will be stuck here forever. Aren't we gonna fight him? No, forget it. Love that they're running from him. Which is, of course, amping Garp. Big Mom's God Zeus and Prometheus. There's this dragon seeing his dad. Are they gonna have a an interaction here? Alright, named attack from Big Mom, Heavenly Fire Blitz. It's Vice Admiral Garp. I can't even really tell what's happening in this shot. Like, so is she shooting a fire blast at Garp and he's dodging it? It's not the most clear thing here. Either way, big explosion. Who did that? What was it? Anyway, this is our big chance. Either said wonky official translation for Sea Kings. Yeah, I know that they call the Sea Kings Neptunians, but it's like in the Japanese, like, is he actually calling Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard Sea Kings as an insult? Just calling them big fish. All right. Moving on to Bitch 12. Oh man, I know people were like losing their minds over this panel and like gassing this up that Garp would get this. When was it that we saw Luffy like this? Was it during the fight with Katakuri? It was during the Katakuri fight, right? That Luffy got all like he like drew Luffy in silhouette with like crazy eyes. All that fire, and then you couldn't cook prime rib with this. The anime when he went Gear 5. I feel like there's something in the manga that is like this though. Oh no, you know what it is? It was I think it was Snake Man against Kaido on the roof before he goes Gear 5, before Dripper shows up and stops the fight. There was like this like crazy panel. It's a small panel. It's like a sliver of a thing, and it's like it's just Luffy. I think he's Snake Man, and he looks exactly like this. Alright. So back to Mayfi. Well, the kidnapper's gotta be dead now. Baby's safe and sound too. Is that good? Safe and sound, perfect. Come back before Garling finds out. Alright. So this Holy Knight is just dumb and is just gonna take one kid back and be like, yeah, I did it. So sorry, I might not be able to rescue your brother, but at least I've got you. It'll be interesting to see where this Mayfi character is now and what they do in the future. Like, I want to come back to this later on and, like, see the inner workings of what, like, a present-day interaction between Dragon or Shanks and this character looks like. Unless this character dies here, but, you know. I think there's layers upon layers that could be added. Alright, so then here's Manmire. You thought you could take advantage of the confusion to escape? No one gets out alive, resident or pirate. What is the kanji on her back? If anybody has that, let me know. Next page. Reporting in, sir. God. Okay, the kanji for God. The Rocks Pirates are coming from the southeast of the valley. Roger Pirates are inbound from the northwest. We're about to be stuck between the two. Okay. We're taking Shaggy back. That's Roger. Defend this spot with your life. The treasure hasn't been hauled out yet. The Rocks Pirates are coming from the other direction. There they are. You can see Gil Bastar, Gloriosa. We got Silver Axe in the front here. Captain John. Captain John has a metal arm. Looking like Eustace Captain Kidd. Excuse me. Original user of the, is it the Jiku Jiku? Or was Captain John always part cyborg? Has his hand been hidden this entire time and we've only ever seen one hand with the bottle? Cheeky cheeky. That's a reveal. I'd love to get some clarification, though. Alright. Next stage here. Put a stop to them. You made sure to escort Shakky, right? Summers, well, what? Summers? You're kidding me, you can't handle one woman in handcuffs? Sounds like there are lots of pirates causing trouble out there. I hate a woman who knows her own worth. Ugh, God. You're better when you're naive. Slaps her. God. Oh. Comes back with the perfume femur attack. I've seen this before. Alright. Grabs her leg. Have we ever seen Shacky's legs? I thought we were like gonna find out that Shacky's been missing a leg the whole series or something. That's right. All those pirates are here to steal you back. You're in high demand, so high that it's ruined our big day. But alive, you're only going to wind up with Garling. So the more emotional choice is to kill you to make sure no one can have you. Wow, get a load of this guy. They've come from far and wide to rescue you. But when they finally get here, battered and bruised, they'll find their beloved brutally slaughtered. Wonder how they'll react to that. I mean, look at John here. Are we just confirming that he has kids' fruit? Because I love that, actually. Alright, we got Roger and Whitebeard. Shakky, I'm here for you. Okay, are you okay, Shakky? I'm coming to save you now. Page. Look, it's me. Here I am. Damn, I can't get through. You gotta get Shakky. Is that Rayleigh on the move? Is Rayleigh gonna take down Summers? Can you hear that? They're right behind us. It'll be just a second too late. St. Summers, I don't think Garling would approve. Shut up. Say anything that goes in the books is an accident. Just look at her face. The light of hope has finally gone out. This ain't no fairy tale. If anyone comes to save her, I'll kill them. Reality is cruel. Kill her in 5 blows, and with each bloody smash, you better regret the peace-addled optimism that led you here. Huh? I'll put the flowers on your grave to send you off. Prime Rayleigh. Can't wait to see what's on the next page. Spider Lily Steel. Knocks him through the wall. Rayleigh saves his girl. Gotta love it. Honestly, I would have been okay with this being the whole page spread, and that's what I expected it to be, but it's fine. Sorry it took so long. I've come to get you. Oh man. Really pulled up with the...
Come with me if you want to live.
hand out and everything. Tears in her eyes. Love to see it. Oh, Ray. You took too long. All right. Best love story in One Piece. Because it's the only one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to go through this. I'm so scared. Never again. We'll do this later, damn it. We got Shakky back, boys. Now take some treasure and let's get the hell out of here. To be continued. I love this, but you know, it also, it kind of complicates things in a way because it feels like they could literally just escape now, and then everything else that happens in the Gaw Valley incident doesn't necessarily need to involve them. I don't expect that to happen, but it's like, you know, it almost feels like this is just, all right, let's get up and go, and everything else that's happening, you know, like, whatever. So, I mean, Rox is playing, like, no part in this. His team is. But he's off doing his own thing. So that's got to be the next chapter, is, like, whatever mission he's been on, which is obviously to, you know, find... Teach and Eris, who I'm still going to stand by that was Olvia holding Teach, and that Eris may be held somewhere else. Eris is sire backwards, which is interesting. I'm trying to like figure out if there's anything in the etymology here that could like give me any sort of theory of anything here. Teach, Rox, Eris. I don't know. Crush said, Eris' name is a pretty big deal. There is a minor planet in our solar system named Eris. Okay. Greek goddess of discord and strife. I knew there had to be something to the etymology. Like, Oda's not going to just pull some random name out of a hat for someone this important. Green Tornado said Luffy and Oda to the carrot plush. I don't want to play with you anymore. Literally doing the Woody fall right there. And to that effect, Hancock is also falling in the same way. Lil Emu supered and said Tar D Eris Tartarus. I mean, a Tartarus thing in the series would be pretty fun. Expect something at some point. We'll find out if it's that. I love this, still love this color spread. I honestly, like, color spread might be my favorite part of the chapter, which is, you know, crazy considering we were at the God Valley incident, but I just really love that. I think this chapter is great and necessary, but a little underwhelming only because it's hitting all of the beats that we expected. It's like, okay, we know that, you know, it's just reading comprehension and putting, you know, puzzle pieces together. At some point, you know, we know that Dragon's holding 2 kids. They're going to get split up in some way. So it's what is the story going to do to tell us how that actually happens? The interesting part is that it's not a character that we're actually, you know, that we know at all. Right? We're introduced to Maffy, and they have etched themselves into this great moment in history. I love that Whitebeard is responsible for Luffy being born. You know, I think that's, you know, saving Dragon's life. That's important. I think there was a missed opportunity for Dragon and Garp to exchange words, even briefly. But, you know, maybe there's still time for that. I think this chapter did a great job of characterizing Summers, like, you know, putting him in the, you know, the echelons of, like, spandom, you know, as far as, like, wow, hate this dude. And when we get back into the present, it's going to be even more sweeter when we beat this guy because, you know, we've got context for him, like, here. Now, we'll see if he ends up playing more of a role in the story of this, like, God Valley, or if, you know, Rayleigh was so goated at this particular time period that he actually took a holy night out in one strike. I don't know. I feel like there might be more of a story to tell here. And then the best part of the chapter, though, like, other than the color spread, but the actual, like, the chat is Rayleigh saving Shakky. Like, this is amazing. This is a level of emotion that, like, we don't see this in One Piece. Oda avoids this stuff. And it's good to see that, like, he can write this. He can write romance and have it be effective. Like, I really like this. I love the come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to live.
But also just, like, them sharing some tears. And then knowing where their story goes after this. Even if he, you know, travels the world stepping out on her, which seems to be implied by Shakky's conversations.
You loyal.
They've got a, an open arrangement. This is still really heartfelt. And I guess from that perspective, I'm glad that Oda took the time to not skip over something like this and like let it breathe. So I do like this. I like that, that got the attention that it deserved. And then it seems implied, I don't know if, it should go as far as, completely saying, yes, this is it. But, I mean, it seems like John had Kid's fruit. Kid died, and then, John died, and then Kid got it. Now, similarly to seeing, like, Semimaru having Bartos fruit and Higurashi having Bon Clay's fruit, I'd prefer it if Captain John had no relation to Kid at all. I don't want like, oh, John's son ate the fruit or his grandson ate the fruit. I don't need that. But I do like that someone who's part of a top pirate crew in this era, there's a top pirate in this era who may or may not be deceased right now that had the same fruit and was able to, climb the world. And maybe we'll get to see John use it more effectively than Kid ever did. But the thing for me with the God Valley flashback and like everything that's been going on so far is that I've become so interested in Rox's journey and Rox as a character that I missed not having him in this chapter. And I think that the next chapter has to be like superbly focused on Rox. And while this was hitting a lot of the beats of the, the expected things, okay, the split up of the two boys, Shakky getting rescued. We know from the things in the present that these are the things that are going to happen. Next week, I think, is when we're going to get into the stuff that's like, here's the hidden stuff that maybe you weren't able to completely deduce. Like, I don't know if there was a surprise in this chapter other than John having, being the previous Magneto. And I don't say that to be like, contrarian or anything like that. Like, it's more, I'm saying it in the place of like, I'm hopeful and excited for what's to come. And I am glad that Oda took the space to let all of this breathe. Hit the chat. Barry's birthday in a couple of days. Happy birthday, Barry. Wheezy Bird said the old man that had Bon Clay's fruit wasn't related to Bon. Yeah, I know. Did the way I say it imply that I was saying that? I was saying similarly to how neither of those characters have known relationships to Barto or Bon Clay. I want the same for John and Kid. Like, I don't want there to be a connection. I don't want John to be Kid's dad or uncle or his grandfather or anything like that. Like, I like the idea that it's like the fruit just moves. We have enough really great connections here. Like, you know, there's a lot of parent stuff, a lot of inherited will going on. Not everything needs to be it for some of these like smaller characters. I want it for the bigger characters, like the main characters. I want them to be connected through lineage and all of that. Captain John's arm looks more like Ahiro's mech arm. True. There is a similarity there. Blazer is Randy. Is Kid going to Cross Guild too? I don't think so. But Law could. Very motivated member for 52 months. This is actually my birthday present from Oda this year. Love is real. It's a good birthday chapter. That's a good point. Brandon said, Mayfi mentions one kid of Garling and captures one kid. Maybe she was executed afterwards for missing one, not knowing about Shanks. I like that, too. Like, I don't need everybody from God Valley to be alive in the present. Like, I would like to see some notable deaths that happen here in God Valley. Jen said, Prime Linlin and Prime Whitebeard with Quake powers is running away from Prime Garp. That's true. That means they think the two of them combined don't want to go up against a man with no devil fruit. You know, I'm no power scaler, but I'm sure those who are had a field day and a fun time with that. Kip, Garp's on the wrong side of history right now? Absolutely. Garp needs to fight the allegations. And this, you know, this chapter was, you know, shows that he's a menace. But he needs to fight a different type of menace activity that's happening here. Community was speculating about chapter 1150, so Crush. When Dory gets reversed, sees pentagram. People are saying they can see Eris's name in the bottom left of the panel. First pentagram on page 10. Written in English or in kanji or something? I'll take a look, but... Page 10. Yeah, I mean, I see that there's like kind of an E, something that could be an A or an R, I, S. Could be intentional. Could not be. The name could derive from the ancient language 400 years ago and all that. 800 years ago, I mean. Yeah, Roger. Eris, Greek god whose actions helped lead to the Trojan War. Paris started the Trojan War. City of Troy. Just reading chat, catching up. It's Mafi, not Mafi. Okay, Mafi. Mafia. Mafioso. Brandon King super said Ray hit Whitebeard with the Ray hit the Whitebeard be my son pose. He got the Riz. He definitely did, but I think that more than anything, and with how big of a Terminator fan that Oda is, just like me, he was definitely calling back to come with me if you want to live. Big Stinky said when Mayfie is reporting, she said the baby's safe, but the guy she reports to says baby's plural. So she definitely messed up. Well, I mean, I'd love to see the consequences of that. As I'm sure we all would. Any interesting things that the community has been talking about this past week? Eric Veltri, member for 37 months, said popping in during the Eagles halftime to say what's up, Savage Crew. Hope you're well, Captain. I'll catch the VOD later. It is that time. It is. It's not even about to be that time. It is that time. It's also halftime. Appreciate you dropping in, Eric. We've already finished the read. We're just going through the chat here, talking about some things. In real life, Captain Kidd's dad is Captain John. Is that true? Because then I'm like, because Oda would know that, and it's like, then that's the, you know, the confirmation right there that that's the same fruit. Whether they're related or not, Oda's like drawing a relation between them because they have the same fruit. Brandon confirming. Fun fact in real life, William Kidd's dad is Captain John. There's been lots of memeing with the new Shanks X'd out face panel. Saeed saying that the plural versus singular thing is not really there in the Japanese, though. For the baby's part. Community had a bit of anger about Whitebeard turning his back and running from Garp. Eric said it was a great chapter. I read it this morning. The Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido running from Garp was my favorite panel from the chapter. It brought a big smile on my face and I had to laugh. Yeah. Nerd culture. Do you guys think Garland kills Rocks and Blackbeard watches it? Hence why Blackbeard has a grudge against Shanks. I mean, at this point, I feel like, and I feel like we've talked about it before, that Garling is a high probability, has a high probability of being the one that kills Rocks. I don't see it being Garp and Roger, unless they're like manipulated in some way, or Rocks is reverse seed or something like that. See, like, those are the things that, like, obviously we know that, you know, Rocks is gonna die somehow, but the way that he's going to, that all of that is gonna happen is the surprise of it all. Excited for that. Yeah, Roger. Randy, could that be a 20-ish-year-old Zeph with the twisted mustache and jacket under the 4 future emperors? I mean, Zeph is in prime age to have been involved in all of this, so I'm never gonna turn away an opportunity for another goat to appear. That's interesting. The face is covered by the Dawn characters here, but the mustache is very Zeph. I doubt it, but I'd love for someone to ask that to Oda in an SPS. Saying it is, but the specific line I'm talking about isn't there. Mafi says baby, but dragon, for instance, adds the plural for in Japanese. Locus, member for 7 months, said Rayleigh's coat feels to me like a Mihawk connection, not necessarily a familial one. Maybe the coat is a sign of the current strongest swordsman. I mean, there might be an opportunity for Mihawk to be inspired by Rayleigh in some way. They could just have similar tailors. I don't know. But I definitely believe, I know a lot of people have wanted Mihawk to be like Ray and Shakky's kid or whatever. Like that Mihawk's already alive. Mihawk's already like 7 years old right now, so that's not the case. But Hancock being their kid, high probability, very high probability. Especially the way that Ray came and pulled up with that dad energy and what was it, 10:58, 10:59. Showed up to Amazon Lily to save her from Blackbeard. Two classy men who live a Paisley pattern. Crush that Shanks X'd out eyes channel emote. I don't necessarily like having I like it to be colored. The emotes, I just think they look better when either it's the colored manga or it's an anime like screenshot. It just feels like low quality if the emote is just the original version of the manga. But that's like my own visualization of it all. Sodium Miner said, "Missed you, Randy." I've been here. I'm here every chapter. Catch me right here. Sundays when the chapter comes out. Cognitive Dissonance said, if Olvia is taking care of Teach right now, as you theorize, then that makes Kuzan being a Blackbeard pirate even more layered. True. I'd love for that to have been like something that like seals the deal for Kuzan. Like, I actually would love it if Kuzan is all in, like believes the messaging that Blackbeard is about. Like, Kuzan has become so disillusioned with the government and the Marines, and then it's like, oh wow, this child was like directly affected by so much of all of this. I'll help them tear it all down. Oh, Eric, the color spray was awesome. One of my favorites of all time. Said, I really like the touch of romance amidst all the chaos of God Valley. Understanding Rayleigh and Shakky's relationship definitely enriches the moments from Archipelago and appearance on Amazon Lily. Yeah, I talked about that a lot earlier, that I was glad that Oda, gave the space for all of that to breathe, especially since he, tends to be allergic to romance in the manga, so giving it that opportunity was very welcome. Seeing so many beloved characters in the claw machine of stuffed animals. Yep. But yeah, just to go back to this thing, like I put on Twitter my Olvia theory just because I don't have time to make a video about it. And as usual, people took it and they started quote tweeting it and misinterpreting everything, even though I like explicitly said that I'm not saying that Olvia is Blackbeard's mom. And I don't know, a lot of people didn't comprehend what I was trying to explain. And it's the idea that most flashbacks have a character that is completely unrelated to somebody that protects them, that ends up influencing them and their career path and what they do. It's like, imagine a scenario where this is all about Sanji, right? And you're seeing, I don't know, some woman holding Sanji, and then it's like, that's got to be Sanji's mom, and it's like, no, it's not Sora. Like, it's somebody else, you know, or maybe that's a bad example, but it's like, obviously, like, Zeph is that person for Sanji. Unrelated, Sanji decides to become a, you know, like, he already was a chef and all that, but he follows in Zeph's footprints, not Judge's. So I feel like Olvia could be that character for Blackbeard, where Blackbeard has actually been moving through life in a similar fashion to Olvia, interested in archaeology, maybe spent time on Ohara, wears a similar hat to her as you know, a teenager in memory of her. Like, I think there's layers there, and that Eris, you know, could be somewhere else. Because perhaps she knows too much, right? So they separated Eris from her child. But her friend or somebody else from the island, or whatever, Olvia, takes it upon herself to, like, care for the baby. When it's all said and done, Eris is dead, Rox is dead, Olvia has Teach, and then is, like, as a 17-year-old, is just, like, sort of forced to raise this kid. Takes the kid to Ohara. Maybe. We don't know. But on Twitter, everybody was just like, so Randy, you're saying that Rox is a PDF? Like, guys, I literally said this is not, like, no. Rox and 15-year-old Olvia did not make Teach. I'm just saying that this could be like every other flashback in the story. Corazon, Zeph, Hiraluk, Shanks. Who else? Start rattling them off. There's plenty more. But, you know, I also like the idea that either Olvia could be a Davy. So, like, a tangential relationship, like a cousin or something like that, but not like an aunt or anything like immediate blood. But I also like the idea that she's Marshall D. Olvia. And since Blackbeard, you know, would have needed to hide all of his names or whatever, ended up taking Olvia's name before she married whoever Nico is. I don't know. It just, I just feel like it opens up a lot of doors for the story if that just ends up being Olvia. It's just the you know, the right age to have been there. 17 years old is like prime. Like, that's what most of our Straw Hats were in pre-time skip. In that 17-year age range, like, where, you know, you're gonna impact the story. So that's the, you know, that's what I want to see. 17-year-old dragon, 17-year-old Olvia. Like, what's happening here? What is this? What is this story? Alex Mirren says, it seems overly complicated to me. Well, One Piece is overly complicated. And that's why I like it, and that's why we're all here. We're dealing with complicated subject matters, complicated politics, complicated characters, and I find it alluring and interesting that these characters could influence the butterfly effect so intricately. It's a delicate weave that Oda is, a delicate web that Oda is weaving, and as we see in this chapter, like Luffy's literally alive, and born because Whitebeard saves Dragon from Mafi. So, Shanks is only able to influence Dragon's son to become the, chosen one pirate and eventually find the One Piece because Dragon saved Shanks. That kind of stuff could then be applied to Blackbeard if we start saying that, we could come up with similar scenarios and talk about the same thing in terms of Blackbeard and Nico Robin, if that's the case. And then also there's the SBS where Blackbeard's favorite hobby is archaeology. So it's like he has to have some tie to Ohara, and this is like a fun one to me. So Mr. Bushio 56 said John is Kid's Devil Fruit. That's where I'm leaning until Oda says otherwise. Like, it looks like Kid's Fruit, and then as it was brought up in the chat by a couple of people, the real life William Kidd, who Captain Kidd was based on, his father is John in real life. Now, I'm not saying that John is Kid's father. I don't think that that's going to work out time-wise. Could. But I don't think it needs to happen. I don't think it needs to be the case. But, maybe it would be interesting. The kid had, a very famous pirate father, and maybe that's why it set him up on a, warpath thinking that he could be the top dog. It's like, well, my dad was Captain John. He's part of the Rocks Pirates. And it's like, sorry, kid. You suck. Axel F. What if the way Moria joins Cross Guild is by offering key to Captain John's treasure? I don't think that Moria is going to need a. I don't think Moria is going to have to make an offering to join. I think having Perono with him alone is going to have Mihawk just be like, yeah, you're good. And Crocodile will be like, whatever, Just prove your worth. Saeed said, the way Rayleigh's attack is read in Japanese means red spider lily, and that's the flower that represents Blackbeard, according to Oda in the SBS. So from that, as we're talking about the way that, the web that's being woven here, if Rayleigh is also responsible for saving Blackbeard, for instance, then in the same way that Whitebeard made it so that Luffy could be born, Rayleigh would then be responsible for unleashing the person who ends up being responsible for his best friend's son's death, and his future Padawan mentee's greatest op. Like that kind of stuff is cool. So it's like whoever saves Blackbeard is really going to be responsible for potentially putting this menace on the warpath that he's been on. But we also may get some context that, eventually makes us go, is Blackbeard a menace? did he do was he wrong? I mean, he didn't really pull the trigger on Ace. He did on Whitebeard, which is crazy, and, but does Whitebeard betray Rocks in the end? We talked about this. I don't necessarily want that, but at the same time, like, if we want to make it a situation where we're trying to make Blackbeard the hero, it's like, if we make Whitebeard a villain in this story, and he kills Rocks, then it's just a guy that was avenging his father's death. And it's like, that muddies things. So we'll see what happens. So it says it's ironic because he tells him that he hates him in Amazon Lily. Also, check the shirt that Shakky is wearing in the archipelago. I know she's got a spider on her shirt. I remember that. Adam has said, I hit notify at 3 a.m. and YouTube decided to never let me know when you went live. Hey, YouTube wants to suppress your boy. YouTube is mad at me. YouTube's mad that there hasn't been a video in a while. There's also subscribers of the channel that have been mad about it. I get it. I apologize. It's not a lot of time. Crush, I'm seeing the thing you sent me where it has all the names. Oh, I didn't see Iceberg in there. That's cool. And I see Zeph, yeah. That's cool. I did miss like 2, maybe 3 people. I'm gonna say YouTube's trash in general. I'll try to catch you every Sunday. Well, hey, look. It's always about to be that time, but generally speaking, like, I've been keeping it to around 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So ends up being, 10:35, 10:40, I know. But that's the thing. And the Discord, I always throw a notification to everybody that in Discord, because I know that, like, if you have notifications on for that, like, that'll go through. So for anybody that misses the notifications on YouTube, I make it a thing to do the Discord notification before every like the moment I'm actually going live. Like you said, we're grown. Then you gotta explain yourself. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. We're still here. We're still talking about everything. Still here. It's always that time in Discord, yeah. Still earlier than Morge? Is that a thing? Morge is even more late than me? I'm gonna say it's my fault. I don't have Discord, so I'll download it now. I'm 37, so I'm hard-headed about new stuff. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's probably like the average age for the my particular Discord anyway. You know, give or take plus or minus 3 years on either side. You know, maybe 3 or 4 years on either side. That feels like what the normal is. So. And I have it, and I'm only like probably a year younger. So. Chin said rate Summers. He's on a scale from like Basura to 10, I guess. Like it's Basura. It's trash. Get out of here. Daily Knowledge Bias said, I kind of want that Whitebeard backstabbing rocks theory in Blackbeard's life goal to be true now. I mean, you know, there's ways that it would hit. Like, I mean, I talk about it on either side, and I see the story analysis benefit of Whitebeard backstabbing rocks, but for me personally, I don't necessarily want it to happen. So, you know, that's how I feel. Wait a second. Eustace, Captain Kidd, Captain John. Like, was it in front of our heads, like, the entire time? I mean, right in front of our faces the entire time? Like, is Captain just dude's name, like, with Kidd? I mean, well, you know, it's Eustace Kidd, but... Like, is the Captain in... Kidd's, you know, epithet and everything, like, is it a reference to to John? That's how you said, yes, I've been saying. Yeah, I feel like that just, I don't know, that just hit me. I just finally put that together. That's crazy. Wheezy Bird's bringing back the ulti Thomas slap. That's hard to choose between those two. Might have to go with the Thomas slap, though. That's a child. They're both exceedingly awful and terrible. It's implied the Captain may be John's family name, but Captain is in quotes in Kid's name. Yeah, I know. I thought about that afterwards, and I was like, wait, yeah, because it is in the quotes. Um, I was only talking about the instances of slaps. So the Shakky slap or the Tama slap. But anyway, I think I'm gonna wind things down here, guys. Thinking that I'm gonna go to the LA Comic-Con for a little bit today. So when I get there, it's enough time to walk around for a little bit. Usually on Sundays they close earlier. I don't know if that's gonna be the case for this. I haven't even looked it up. But Daily Knowledge Blast, you know, so get your last questions in, anything you want to say, guys, you know. Captain, how you feeling? How do you feel the progression of the story going after the God Valley flashback, not going to Elbaf? What would be the stories that need wrapping up to bring the full story together? We've talked about this, that what I want is when the God Valley flashback is over, I do not want to go back to Elbaf. I want to spend more chapters doing like a Dex of the World and setting everything else up. Like, I want it to feel like when we come back to Elbaf, what we are actually in with Emu being on Elbaf is the actual climax of the story. Like, this is where everything is leading up to. And so that means that everything with the ancient weapons and everything needs to be happening like concurrently, or have already happened in either the trek to Elbaf and all that. So it's like, where are we in the current present time? What's the Cross Guild doing? Who has been added to the Cross Guild? Can we get confirmation that Moria is there? Has there been an Impel Down second breakout? Barto, is he in Impel Down now that he's probably been captured after the Shanks thing? Have the Blackbeard pirates gone to Wano? Have the Cross Guild gone to Wano to get Pluton? Who's getting Pluton? Has Shirahoshi been kidnapped? Like, these are all the things that I feel like need to happen concurrently to like create the perfect climax of the story where a lot of people are coming to Elbaf. What's the Revolutionary Army doing? What's going on with Vivi? She sent the newspaper, but like, what else is really going on? Is she on her way? Then we come back to Elbaf, and maybe as the fight is happening, like, some of these other factions start appearing and it doesn't feel forced or like, oh my god, like, where is this coming from? Like, we got the setup for it. We knew what they were doing in the background. Marvel Rivals stream soon? Maybe. I still play like every day. Every day, every other day or whatever. I get Mars to sleep. I cut the game on and I play it. I'm waiting for Daredevil to come out. I don't know if I'm gonna main him or anything like that, but they're saying Gambit for season 5. That excites me. That's a character that I would definitely like main and try to lord. Big Sneaky said, what about at the end of the God Valley flashback? It's actually Dragon recounting it to Sabo, so we have Dragon storming. That's awesome, because then, you know, it's like, it moves the narrator over to something that makes a little more sense at some point, you know? My only thing is that I feel like everything needs to go back to... My worry is that it needs to go back to Loki finishing the story and get Harold's death and all that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see what it is. Richard said, I hope Mars and Chrissy are doing well. Thanks for asking. Malik said Gambit was my go-to on the arcades back in the day. I mean, I got Marvel vs. Capcom behind me right there. Gambit was always my my main. The second or third character, you know, I'd swap them out occasionally. But it was usually, you know, if I wanted to get sweaty, it was Gambit and probably Captain Commando. Alright guys, no break, so we will be back for 1162 on Sunday. Thank you everybody who came through. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. And like Rayleigh said to Shakky in this particular chapter,
come with me if you want to live.
Catch you guys later.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.